Here is the Guardians of the Abyss, which is a scenario pack for the Arkham Horror Living card game, similar to Curse of the Rougarou and Carnivale of Horror. On the back, it lets you know that this is a 78 card expansion containing 2 linked scenarios that you need the core box, but only the core box to play. There is no QR code, as unlike Mythos packs, these don't introduce new player cards. Each of these 2 scenarios was released individually at the 2018 events Gen Con and Arkham Knights respectively. It is the mid-size packaging that we have seen before on Labyrinths of Lunacy and the L5R clan packs. Opening it up, there is no rules sheet under the front flap, but a folded, stapled booklet instead. Underneath this are 2 decks of cards, spoiler side out. Each deck is individually shrink wrapped with a language sticker on the front. The cards aren't handily divided by scenario, so it isn't as simple as 1 pack for each. The 24-page booklet is roughly the size of 2 game cards side by side. It is full colour, but the text is very small, being about the same size as that which appears on the cards. It is a black on grey text, so you may struggle if you are stuck in the corner of a dimly lit convention hall. It has a new expansion symbol on the front that appears on the bottom of every card. Opening it up, it lets you know that you can play these scenarios in 2 ways. Either standalone mode as a one-time adventure, check out our video on how this works, or as a side quest that you insert between 2 different campaign scenarios. If you are playing in standalone mode, you get a choice of 2 difficulty levels and there are instructions for setting up the Chaos Bag. But even in standard difficulty, this has a -6 token, so bring your game face. We didn't find any reason why you couldn't play both of these scenarios back to back. This is a great plan if you are attending your country's version of Arkham Knights or participating in the Invocation event. If you want to take a detour from your ongoing campaign, you can disappear to Egypt at any point between your existing scenarios. It is up to you if you want to invent a story reason for this, such as getting on the wrong train and not arriving in Essex County. Your Chaos Bag and difficulty level stays the same, and don't forget you must pay experience to undertake a side quest. 2 XP for each of these stories. Again, we can't see any reason why you couldn't do both of these back to back, and thematically it may make more sense to do so. You need to think of these as part 1 and part 2 of an adventure. You could play part 1 and then 2, you could play just part 2, but for storyline reasons you can't play part 2 and then go back and play part 1. Although this is Lovecraft, so just blame it on the Dreamlands and you'll be fine. As this is product number 27 in the LCG line, it uses some of the new rules and card types introduced in later products. In order to be able to play it with just the core box, there is an example of the Explore mechanic introduced in The Forgotten Age and story cards from Labyrinth or Carcosa, as well as a new mechanic for this scenario known as the Abyss. You will notice that your scenario reference card looks a little different and all is explained here. And you thought being kidnapped in Dunwich was bad. There are 6 different encounter sets in this product, 2 exclusive to each scenario and 2 shared between both. This unfortunately means you need 1 pack per group, and you couldn't split the scenarios between 2 groups, or have both scenarios pre-built, much like Labyrinths of Lunacy. Then we proceed to the setup instructions for The Eternal Slumber, beginning as much of Lovecraft fiction does with a letter. There are 2 pages of brief instructions including a suggested placement diagram. Then you have 3 pages of do not read instructions for this scenario. On page 17, the Knight's Usurper begins with a story, and then lengthier setup instructions without a placement diagram. The results from the first part do roll over and have influence on the second part. There are another 3 pages of do not read resolutions and a closing bit of art. On the back page is the credit, and it gives you a look into the length of time it takes to produce one of these products, as you can see which people have changed jobs. And you may see a familiar name or 2 in the playtester credits if you've been hanging around on the forums or Discord. In summary, you are getting 2 scenarios for a good price. You can use these at an event such as Invocation, Arkham Knights or any other convention or game store meeting. If you have a regular campaign night and one week you have a player who can't make it, consider playing one or both of these scenarios as opposed to declaring the day lost. Your missing player won't be missing out on the campaign story and the rest of you get your Arkham fix. If you're a fan of the literature, you visit Egypt, which is a popular Cthulhu location, and there is plenty of mythos detail including creatures and a certain elder god. And bonus points if you can predict who that Elder God will be from the title of the pack. Guardians of the Abyss. There is only one Lord of the Abyss, right?